The Philadelphia Eagles had a major statement win last night on national TV Sunday Night Football over the red hot Miami Dolphins. We're going to talk all about it today. Maybe, just maybe, a little Philadelphia Phillies Red October as well. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, every button you can see. If you don't hit that like button, it obviously means you don't care that the Philadelphia Eagles won last night. You got to hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. We got lots to dive into, lots to digest, lots to discuss as our Philadelphia Eagles took it to the Miami Dolphins last night on national TV, 31-17. We also have got some Phillies Red October, chance to clinch another World Series berth tonight on the horizon. So we got that as well. Fly, Eagles, fly. This is brotherly something. I don't know. Will Smith already. My boys did their thing last night. Jalen still has to cut down the turnovers. We're going to discuss the turnovers for sure in Jalen Hurts. But that defense, man, Will Smith, that defense. There is so much positive. We need to discuss so much today. Everybody's going to want to talk about Jalen Hurts. Everybody's going to talk about the turnovers, the injury, whatever. But man, that Eagles defense, that was one of the most dominant performances I've seen. To hold a team like the Miami Dolphins and their vaunted offense to literally 10 points because 7 were on a pick 6 by Jalen Hurts. That's impressive. Holding that Dolphins offense to under 300 yards. That is damn impressive. Davon, what's up? Woke up smiling today. It's a Victory Monday. Exactly. Like Kyle says here, Victory Monday. Victory Mondays are so much better than the opposite. Last Monday after the Jets game, we weren't so happy. Today, much, much happier. It was a great win. It's our time, Philly. Great win. I don't like the term typically statement win. I don't know why. Something about the word statement win I'm not always a fan of. Uh, but I kind of feel like that last night's win kind of is one of those statement wins. Adam, weren't you there last night? What are you doing up already? I mean, it's hard. You guys, I'm going to need you guys today to power me through with the passion in the comments because I'm exhausted. I don't know about anybody else. I wasn't even at the game. Adam, I think you said you were going to the game. And you're up bright and early here in the comments. I love it. One like, and that's all I'm getting from you today. Well, you can only like it one time. Unless you got burner counts. Phillies should be number one. Phillies are, yeah, I mean, we got to cover a little Phillies today. Not a lot. Hurts looked good, and Allen sucks. Yeah, man, that Buffalo losing yesterday, that was not a good sign for them. They're going to be falling this week in my power rank. So I'll just forewarn you. Condolences to TMC. Welcome back, K1. Welcome back. It's a statement to nation. You guys are number one. Well, I mean, the Chiefs are still up there. Look, the Dolphins are still a good football team. They're actually a great football team. I just think the statement isn't even about the offense, which the offense was great yesterday. The statement that was made that our defense is no joke. And we still are missing Reed Blankenship and so many other players on that defense. And they still held the Miami Dolphins under 300 yards. I mean, that is a statement of all statements right there. Lose to the Jets, spank Miami, such a Philly thing. I mean, they talked about it briefly. You know, I was having trouble falling asleep, so I watched a little bit of the post-game live on NBC Sports Philly last night. Not something I typically do. And is it Barrett Brooks? Is that who's on the desk with Jaws? I brought it up that there was some bit of maybe playing down to the level of our competition last week and getting up, which I don't like that. But you know, we definitely, and I always hate the term, looking ahead and looking past an opponent. Professionals shouldn't do that. but maybe the Eagles did look a little past the Jets. Plus, they had a lot less of their injured players back last week versus this week. It happens. You're never gonna go 17-0. But to come back and respond to that Jets loss the way they did, it proves one thing that I've talked about so many times on this show, Davon, is that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni will never let this team go on a long losing streak. They might lose 2 games somewhere in a row, but this team is just too good and too well led to have major losing streaks. And it just shows you have a bad game. You could have easily lost to the Jets and then, been down on yourself and been like, it could have snowballed. It could have easily snowballed because the Dolphins are a great team. You still got injured players. Obviously, Jalen is hurt. And you could have used all those excuses and gone on a losing streak here. But didn't do it. They stepped up. They stepped up big time. Hurts is top 3. Man, Hurts has got so many people in their feelings right now. I don't even know. A.J. Brown is the best, absolutely. Dallas Goedert had a very good game. DeAndre Swift, a good game as well. Kenny G did not have a good game. He had a touchdown, but he was terrible everywhere else. Nolan Smith, he played 4 snaps, and he got his first sack of his career. Love it. What's up, Peanut? Tua looked human yesterday. Hill was limited by our defense, and I watched the game sober for the first time ever. Well, that doesn't sound fun. Um, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. All the things you said. The defensive schemes that Sean Desai ran yesterday kept them in check. Tua or Tyreek Hill did his thing at 10 catches, but he never broke a big one. He had his touchdown, but that was it. You kept Tyreek Hill under 100 yards. There was this prop bet on DraftKings. That was one of those boosted things, basically guaranteed wins almost likely, like plus 100, that a combination of Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown would combine get 150 yards. Even money. They limited me to only a $10 bet on it. It was the easiest bet. Of course I'm going to bet that. I bet it. And I thought it would have been like 150 from Tyreek Hill and 100 from A.J. Brown, but nuh-uh. It was A.J. Brown carrying that bet to the cash window there. That was great. Tua looked human. He did. And although the turnovers from Jalen Hurts looked better than Tua yesterday. That touchdown by Gainwell had me jump out of bed. You were already ready for sleep watching the last few minutes in bed. Yeah, I mean, it made up for the big touchdown or the big pass to A.J. Brown where Jalen Hurts took a big hit. Kenny Gainwell, who's supposed to be the better blocking back, got blown up and missed his blocking assignment. So he made up for it there. But still, the usage of Kenneth Gainwell in the wrong spots all the time continues. And Kenneth Gainwell, what was he, like 8? Let me pull the box score up. I had it on something else here. Hold on. I mean, what, 8 of 16 rushing? That's not good enough from a guy that people have such high hopes for. Bills radio talking about Eagles, how they only have to use one tight end. Bills too. The Eagles used to be a Big 12 personnel team. They used to be. They're not anymore. That's because they got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Kenny G did something that's more than usual. He rushed for a touchdown. Yeah, big deal. Way too many Dolphins fans talking trash till the Eagles pulled away. There was a lot of trash talking from a lot of people. Look, let me tell you something. We got to spend a lot of time on the defense, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, Adam. But, man, I put it out there last night. There are so many Jalen Hurts haters in Philadelphia and around the country, they're all around the NFL, that just can't wait for Jalen Hurts to fail. And they hope Jalen Hurts fails. And they pray that Jalen Hurts fails. And when Jalen Hurts came out last night and had a fumble and then threw that pick six, man, the Jalen Hurts, you learned a lot about a lot of people. Because, man, Jalen Hurts stinks. He's trash. He's awful. He was a one-hit wonder. The amount of negativity I saw floating around social media last night on Jalen Hurts, insanity. And, yes, I'm not making excuses. He made 2 big mistakes last night. That fumble was very costly, and it led to 3 points. And, obviously, the pick six, you can't do it. And I'm not making excuses for him. He's got to be better. What's he got now? 8 interceptions and 2 or 3 fumbles on the season? That's not good enough. And he'll admit that. But he still came up. He still, let me go over Jalen Hurts' stat line. 23 of 31, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. An over 109 quarterback rate. Plus he ran the ball for 11 times. Plus he had a rushing touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns. on about 300 combined yards, and the team won by 14. So, yeah, he made two big mistakes, but he made the big plays when they mattered. And that throw, standing in there under pressure, knowing you're going to get crushed to A.J. Brown, was the thing that MVPs make. MVPs are guys that don't let a mistake knock them down. An MVP is a guy that leads his team to victory. There was a point in that game where it could have gone either way, but Jalen Hurts led this team. He was over there firing up the defense on the sideline. He was doing it all. So it just drove me nuts, and I couldn't wait to come on here. I almost wanted to go live last night just to talk about the haters spending so much time patiently waiting for a moment like last night when he threw that pick six to call Jalen Hurts trash and whatever else they wanted to call him. And those same people, after he made the A.J. Brown pass, got awfully quiet. Because there's just this preconceived notion that you got to hate on Jalen Hurts. And it makes me so disappointed in people because they got to be better than that. But they're not. The 12th man came through big time. The false start, the second half. Dude, like I said it on Friday, Peanut. There was zero chance that the Eagles were going to lose the Kelly Green re-debut night. That fan base and those players, Kelly Green, and I was anti-Kelly Green, but 5 minutes before the game started, I was wishing I had some Kelly Green because I got into it too, and then I got to give NBC Sports Sunday Night Football crew or the production crew some credit because they played into it with the graphics with the Kelly Green really well. I mean, the highlights of Reggie White and Randall Cunningham and stuff like that, the Buddy Ryan clips. They did a really good job playing into it last night. So I'm going to give them. I'll give Collinsworth and Tirico some credit. They called a really solid game last night. Pretty fair down the middle. Gave Eagles credit when due. Gave the Dolphins credit when due, and gave both teams flack when due. So I give them credit. I'll give NBC and the telecast some credit for last night. It was a good job. Two big mistakes from Jalen, but he didn't lose focus. And the announce crew brought that up, Davon, on the show after I think it was after the pick six when they showed a picture of him sitting on the bench emotionless. And sometimes that bothers me. I want him to be as fired up as me, but it's probably smart that he stays laser focused the way he does. And it's probably the best part about it. Love how they went for it on fourth down there on that field. Yeah, that was a big moment. Fourth down, inside your own 30, and it's 4th and 1, a long one, and they bring the punt team out. Then Nick Sierra's like, nah, timeout, offense, get back out there and get the first down. And they did. And then they were able to march down the field and kill another 4 or 5 minutes off the clock. That was clutch, Adam. And that's having faith in your offensive line, faith in your quarterback, faith in your team to get the job done. And I loved it. It was such a big moment. People that say Jalen Hurts can't play football don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, I mean, they had a preconceived notion that I had people calling him Wentz. I saw people calling him Wentz 2.0 last night, stuff like that. Look, not making excuses. He's obviously injured. Something's wrong. They're not talking about it. They're not putting him on the injured report. Anything, whether it happened last night, whether it happened in the Rams game in that big hit, or even game 1 of the season against the Patriots, there was a play that looked like he took it. Who knows? But he's not healthy. And I'm not making an excuse for him. But, man, the people just want him to fail so badly. Even Eagles fans want Jalen Hurts to fail so badly. And let me be honest, it's kind of frustrating to say it. It's very frustrating to say it. Phil postgame would be fire. Yeah, dude. I used to do a postgame show. I used to do a halftime show. I used to do a pregame, halftime, and postgame show. But with the morning show now, it's just too much. It's too much. Especially last night, the game was over 11:15. I had to be up at 6:30 this morning to get set for today. It's just not good for my time. Take those turnovers away, and the Dolphins only score 7. The D came to play. Yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time, Peanut, on the offense and Jalen Hurts, obviously. Because offense sells, sex sells. But the defense, man, the defense kept us in that game last night. The defense held one of the hottest offenses in football we've seen in ages. This is the same offense that put up 70 a 70 burger a few weeks ago, and we held them to 17. Well, 10. If you they gave up one, the defense gave up one touchdown last night to Tyreek Hill, and that was it. The Kelly Green was better than imagined. It really was. It really, really was. Um, it was fantastic. That timeout was huge. Yes, absolutely. Nick Sirianni, and I see your second comment here, K1. He's an assassin. But that timeout, Nick Sirianni is a coach that we love as Eagles fans. But let me tell you something. If he wasn't the Eagles coach and he was having this success somewhere else, we'd hate Nick Sirianni so much for his pompous, arrogant style. But man, because he's our coach, we absolutely love him. And what did I say on Friday? I said the key to the game was controlling the clock, not just time of possession, but plays too. And we had over 20 more offensive snaps, 71 to 49 than the Dolphins. That's how you stop the Dolphins, by keeping their offense off the field. So we stopped the offense. We slowed it down at times. The defense got pressure on Tua. We eliminated their run game altogether. But we kept them off the field because our offense was able, even though Jalen had the 2 turnovers, the offense was able to move the ball. They ran the ball fairly decent amount. That's how you keep the Dolphins off the field and you beat them. Stop doubting the Eagles. Nick Sirianni, absolutely. 36-43, top is huge. Eli Ricks, he played really well last night. I had to cover Tyreek Hill a few times. Look, Eli Ricks stepped up. And that's the thing, like, the secondary is still ravaged with injuries. The secondary still got holes in it. But guess what? It's a next man up mentality, and it's a great scheme, and it's the great front that's putting pressure on the quarterback that's helping these defensive backs hang in there in situations when most people wouldn't. There'd be a perfectly built-in excuse if the secondary got lit up for 400 passing yards because of everything. Dallas fans still saying we haven't faced a real team. Of course they are. Dallas fans are stupid, just plain and simple. So, yeah, we didn't face a real team. We beat a 5-1 team on Sunday Night Football, and one of the best offenses we've seen in years. Brian Johnson is starting to figure out you don't have to walk away from the run. Well, Brian Johnson still, and I'm sure this week we'll discuss it in length on other shows. This is more a reactionary show. That first drive of the game, we got the balls to start the game, marched right down the field, get in the red zone, and boom, stalled. Because you went from what was working on the drive to 3 completely different plays and even different personnel. And they've done it so many times that they bring in Kenneth Gainwell for the first time in a game in a tough situation when Kenneth Gainwell hasn't seen the field yet. And they did it on that first drive. He hadn't touched the ball all drive long to start the game, and 3rd and goal from the 8, and they hand it off to him, and he fails miserably. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Or whatever the down and distance was. So Brian Johnson's play calling in the red zone is still suspect. But the rest of the game, they did well. The plays were there. Nick Sirianni is a Philly guy through and through, fully understands the culture around Philly sports. Zach, this is a fantastic comment. I agree with you 110%. And K1 seems to as well on this follow-up post right below. That's what we want. We want players and coaches in our city that get us, that understand who we are. Nick Sirianni does that. And Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts is the perfect complement of each other in Philly. You got Nick Sirianni, the rah-rah, fiery personality, and you got Jalen Hurts, the laser-focused, the do whatever it takes to win guy. They're perfect. It's a perfect combo, those two guys. It's meant so much. Desai, Fangio. I love this comment. Like, I was thinking of something along this line last night when I was watching it. I was like, the Vic Fangio disciple of Sean Desai out-coached the coach that taught him everything. It's so spot on. You guys are coming up with some great comments here. I love it. AJ Brown is a beast. Daphne, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you hit the like button and the share button. I greatly appreciate it if you do. And everybody we only got 11 likes on YouTube so far, 5 on Facebook, 20 minutes into the show. There's lots of comments. Let's pound those like buttons and shares buttons on wherever you're watching the show. There's a time before the season, in the offseason, I was one of the people instigating the Devontae Smith will eventually be greater than A.J. Brown thing. But, man, A.J. Brown, He's just a special beast. Like, he's kind of like T.O., but maybe better. Like, he still takes plays off. He does. He doesn't run every route full speed. I get it. But man, when the ball is thrown his way, he's going to catch it. And he is going to outmuscle a defensive back. He's a tight end body with wide receiver speed. And he's got great hands. I mean, AJ Brown, first play, what they say last night, first player ever with 5 or 6 straight games of over 125 yards. I mean, it's insane. It's insane what he's doing. I'm so happy for Jordan Davis. I believe he has 3.5 sacks. Dude, yeah, I mean, Jordan Davis wreaked havoc last night in the game. I mean, the box score doesn't show a lot, but man, and they even said it. I think it was Chris Collinsworth said it early in the game when he made one of his plays. So Jordan Davis, let me see here. He only had 2 tackles and he had a half a sack last night. He did see the field. He did play 57% of the snaps on defense, more than Carter. Well, Carter was coming back from the injury. But Chris Collinsworth gave him credit too. He's like, he was okay-ish last year, but come on strong this year. I mean, it's such a big deal. I mean, it's very hard for somebody, a rookie, for some reason. I don't know why it is, but it's very hard for rookie defensive tackles to succeed as rookies, which makes what Jalen Carter's doing that much more impressive. But Jordan Davis is having a hell of a season. And when Fletcher Cox retires at the end of this year or whenever it is, Jordan Davis will fill in that role just fine, along with Jalen Carter. I have no problems with our defense, the future of our defensive line, with the youth that's brought. Even Nolan Smith getting in the sack. He had 4 snaps last night. He played defense, and he got his first sack of the year. You just love to see the youth on the defensive line. I joked in the Eagles Discord server that we needed to go on a 12-minute drive in the fourth quarter of the game, and then we did exactly. Was it 12 minutes? I know it was a long drive. And there's an Eagles Discord. I might have to start a Discord for this show. I know TMC wants it badly. TV said Mozart was an Eagle and you cut him. Yes, he was an Eagle in 2015. We're not the only team to cut him. I think there's been like 6 teams that have cut him. So I don't know what the deal is there. 26-12 first downs, even with 2 turnovers. There are so many huge stats like that, like team related stats on the game last night. 26-12 first downs, big deal. That's how you keep the offense of the Dolphins off the field. You convert your first downs. I think one of the tush pushes, one of the last tush pushes of the game, not the 4th down when they brought the punter, another one on that drive, like around midfield. Half the Dolphins defenders just didn't even try to stop it because they knew they couldn't. And there's nothing. They're still trying to stop it. The refs and the league. You saw another penalty on it when it clearly wasn't Landon Dickerson's hand. It was clearly Jason Kelsey's hand. But you beat the Dolphins, and the Eagles put the perfect blueprint out there for the rest of the NFL on how to beat the Dolphins. Now, yes, the Dolphins had multiple offensive linemen injured, multiple secondary guys, including 2 all-pro cornerbacks out in this game. So that changes the complexion of the game if Ramsey and Howard are out there or the offensive line is healthy. It does. But you can only beat the 53 men that line up opposite of you. And the Eagles took care of business there, and they put the blueprint out there. Control the clock and keep Tua off the field. I saw a lot of press and couple of blitzes decide, does Brian Johnson know that we don't do that? I don't know. Don't know. I still worry about Jalen's turnovers, but we are 6-1. Look, we all worry about it. What is up, Drew? We all worry about the turnovers. I worry more about the injury though than the turnovers. I saw him on one of the first down runs he had. It seemed like he came up a little gimpy. He was obviously linked into the locker room. Rumor was that he had a brace on his knee in the second half. I didn't see it, and I tried to look for it. I didn't see it. Maybe it was just like one of those sleeve wraps on his knee. Maybe like a compression brace instead of an actual brace, but something's not right. And he took that big hit against the Rams on his knee. Something's banged up, but obviously not bad enough for him to stand in there and take a huge hit as he throws a bomb, dimed it into AJ Brown's hands. I mean, there's a lot to digest on the Jalen Hurts thing, and we're going to continue talking it today and all week. And I hope we learn a little bit more about Jalen Hurts' knee or whatever's bothering him. It's called pandering, or others call it EQ. I call getting the full Sirianni. I called it pandering at first his rookie year as head coach. I did. And I asked plenty of times, not on this show, but the nighttime show I used to do, Duck, that if the losing starts to happen, the pandering will not be as exciting. Well, the losing now 2+ years in has not started happening. Slay's interception was huge, got the momentum by the Eagles. Yeah, dude. So there were a couple people coming in my mentions on Twitter, calling Jalen Hurts trash, and then they all started going Darius Slay's trash and washed and what, dude. No, stop. The people that are there are so many. Even like I said, even Eagles fans that just can't wait to be negative and crush players. Darius Slay get trashed. I saw his wife Jen Williams, who's a fantastic follow on social media. Um, I saw her say, "I got receipts," and she's talking to Eagle social media that's calling him washed, basically. Zach, yes, fire. The Cy Fangioed better. Yes, absolutely true. The Cowboys lost and they on their bye week. That's fantastically funny right there. I love it. 4 of 6 in the red zone, 4 of 12 on third down, but 4 of 4 on fourth down. Exactly. If you got 4th and 1, I don't care if you're inside your own 2 yard line. You just go for it. And I still stand by it, Observer. That I would love, absolutely love, without a shadow of a doubt, love the Eagles to run a drive just completely with this tush push. Just go from the 25 right into the end zone, just tush push after tush push, because you can get about 2-3 yards on every single one of them. I think they could do it. I would love to see it. It would be hilarious. A big middle finger to the league if they did that. AJ Brown is like Megatron. Actually, Davey, I think that's a really, really good comparison. Not To. He is kind of like Megatron. He is just bigger, stronger, faster than everybody else on the field. He really is. And I love that comparison. I think, and that's a bold comparison because Megatron's a Hall of Fame level player. And that's what he is. Sweat doesn't get the credit he deserves. Josh Sweat had a great game, 2 big sacks, one on that last drive there. Yeah, but there was a play that I did crush Josh Sweat in one tweet last night because there was an RPO that was ran that Tua threw a first down pass that Josh Sweat just totally blew up the running back, and the running back didn't have the ball. He bit on the fake so bad on that one play, and it was a big play because it did result in a first down. But yeah, Josh Sweat, he's just such a quiet assassin. Josh Sweat just does so much so well at getting at the quarterback. And he never, I mean, he had, everyone's like, oh, this is going to be his breakout season. Well, he had double-digit sacks last year. It's not like he's this unknown guy that had 4 sacks last year and was going to get 10 for the first time. He had, what was it, 12 and a half sacks last year or something like that? Yeah, Josh Sweat definitely needs more credit for what he is capable of doing, and he does. Jordan Davis just needed time to adjust to the league. Absolutely agree with you. And now you're seeing the fruits of it. You're seeing it. He's a monster in the middle. AJ is TMC #1 ranked wide receiver. It's hard to disagree with the way he's putting up the numbers. My heart stopped when Jalen threw that ball to AJ in double coverage. It looked like the ball hung in the air. Are you the one that went out of bounds on the left side of the field? I think Jalen Hurts. He looked down AJ Brown big time on that play. I saw it on the replay. But I think he purposely overthrew him and sailed that ball. I think as his arm went back, he saw the corner coming into that play, and he knew he couldn't do anything else, and he just let that ball sail. He wanted that ball to go 10 yards over, everybody's head because he saw the pick coming, and I think he let that ball go to sail a little bit. Davis wasn't in shape last season, then he got hurt, and we picked up soon. It all played into factors into it as well, K1. This year he's in shape. This year, there was no pressure on him this year. Last year, there was pressure on him to step up and be something right from the get-go. This year, it was the Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter show with him. We'll see what he does. And he's like, no, no, no. People aren't going to forget who I am. I'm just as big. Good morning, Reality Check. How you doing? Great win last night. Glad to see my team back to normal. Wasn't completely perfect, but the things that went wrong are fixable. Johnson looked way more comfortable too outside of that first red zone drive. That's what I'll only disagree with you on that first red zone drive. I heard Devontae Smith has been playing through a nagging hamstring injury since the preseason. Can't imagine how much pain. And he did drop in our pass. I mean, if you want to look at the bad, if you want to criticize Jalen's 2 turnovers, Devontae Smith had another big drop on a play. But yeah, he was on the injury report this past week with a hamstring injury. Maybe it has been dealing all year long. So maybe that's part of it. Jalen's injury worries me. Sounds like he's going to be dealing with it for a while. Absolutely. And we still have 2 more games till the bye week. The bye week can't get here soon enough for him and the secondary. and for everybody else to get a break. But you know, he's a tough guy. Now, and the injury, it's on Brian Johnson. Stop calling the quarterback draws. Stop calling RPOs. Just run the ball with DeAndre Swift and have Jalen Hurts get the ball in shotgun and straight drop back and throw the ball to AJ Brown. Like he's banged up. He's injured. Let's protect him by calling the right plays. That's my opinion, at least. Speaking of in shape, y'all see Barrett Brooks, dude, Marshawn. I don't watch post game live. I thought like when I mentioned him earlier in the show, Marshawn. I don't know if you were watching at that moment when he was talking about the Jets game. I don't watch post game live. I don't. I get ready for this show after an Eagles game. But last night I was laying in bed, couldn't fall asleep immediately. I was watching it. I was like, "Who's the guy in between, Jaws and company and stuff?" And I'm like, "Is that Barrett Brooks still?" That dude lost a lot of weight. I noticed that, and I thought that too. Yes, he looks yeah, I'm shocked. Like, I didn't know if that's who it was or not. They must have some kind of confidence in Ricks if they're gonna put him in press. Yeah, absolutely. They showed a lot of confidence, and he didn't get beat. Showed that he's got some I mean, it's interesting that Eli Ricks was the first man up over Kellen Ringo, who was actually a draft pick versus Ricks being a undrafted guy. Now, it was also possibly because he's more suited for the slot than Ringo and stuff like that, but huge confidence boost on how he played. Ricks did the one thing that we didn't do most of the system: man press at the line. You got to have speed. If you're going to man press at the line against those wide receivers, you got to be quick enough to do it, and he did it. Reports is Cowboys fans seething. Yeah, man. I saw people. I saw a lot of Cowboys fans on Twitter and whatnot, and they weren't too happy. They're going to find whatever they can to crush him. Tyreek Hill is so fast; he dusted double coverage on that touchdown. Absolutely. Look, I said it before. You give me Tyreek Hill's stat line, 10, 88, 1 every week, and I'm a defense coordinator. I'm happy. He dusted them on that, and he did have the one big drop on the crossing route. Um, that could have been another touchdown. But man, all I gotta say is you give me 10, 88, and 1, I call that a win every single Sunday and Monday. Did you see that yesterday Hurts matched Randall Cunniham's 32 rushing touchdowns for the Eagles? Yes, I did see that. He is the tied for the leading rushing touchdowns in Eagles history for a quarterback. Mm. We might want to crush the haters might want to crush Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is going to go down as the greatest Eagles quarterback of all time. Mark my word. He is going to set every passing and rushing, every quarterback record there is. He is going to own it by the end of his career. Knock on wood, he stays relatively healthy. He's that damn good. Um, the Kelly Green light show before the game was awesome. I'm sure it was. I did not watch it. Obviously, I wasn't there. I don't know if it was on TV somewhere, but I did not see it. Edmonds is terrible. Terrell Edmonds led the team in tackles last night, but maybe because it's probably not good when your safety leads the team in tackles when he's playing so far off the line of scrimmage. Um, Howie Roseman's got to bring in another safety, whether it's a depth piece or a starting safety. Howie Roseman has to make a move, either with the Broncos or the Titans or whoever. The Carolina Panthers. Well, you can't do Chin anymore because he's injured now. Howie Roseman has to get another safety. I know when Reed Blankenship's back, he'll be starting, and probably Sidney Brown would start opposite of him as the roster is right now. Justin Evans didn't do anything, and with a neck injury, and he's had injuries before. Don't know if we'll ever see Justin Evans again. You got to upgrade Terrell Edmonds, man. Howie Roseman has to. Now, the great defensive front and the pressure we get and the way we stop the run makes Edmonds' job a little easier, but he's still not the guy. He's not, and it needs to be improved upon big time. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I think you can't give Hill all that buffer to get up to warp speed. Then he gets to the cornerback, you bump him at the line. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But also, you don't want him beating you over the top, and you know your safeties aren't. One's not that good, and one's very inexperienced. So you want to keep the plays in front of you as best you can. That's the theory behind it, in my opinion. Trying to keep them in front of you. Bend, don't break. Um, yeah, would we like to see him press a little bit? Sure. But if you miss the jam at the line of scrimmage and he puts a move on you, you ain't catching him. You don't catch them from behind. You keep them in front of you, and you hope you can contain them. And that's what they did. 10 catches for 88 yards. That's 8.8 yards per catch. That's what you want to keep them to, and that's how you do it. Um, Hurts can press 600 pounds. Yeah, I mean, if you're not an Eagles fan for life, yeah, that's not uncommon knowledge to the Eagles fans. Just so you know, we know all about it. We've seen the videos of him doing it. Edmonds has me reconnecting with the Lord Savior when he out there. Yeah, I mean, look, he's not great. Look, he was one of the guys that I wanted that I thought was on the roster bubble coming out of camp, and I would have cut. And I talked about keeping Kayvon Wallace over Terrell Edmonds. I don't know how Kayvon Wallace is doing in Arizona. I know he had the big pick in the Cardinals win over the Cowboys, but that was about it. I haven't watched any of our Cardinals games, but man, Terrell Edmonds not good. I want to ban it because it always works with the Eagles. Yeah, exactly. Yet nobody else can run it, and everybody else fails at it. I want to ban Taylor Swift, but that won't happen either because Taylor Swift makes some money. You would think the tush push makes some money because everybody's talking about it all the time. They can find a way to monopolize and money or make monetize the tush push. They don't. Sirianni said every drive starts as 1st and 9 because of the tush push. That's what, I did not hear him say that, Peanut. But if he said that, that's fantastic, and I love it. Love it. I would almost say it starts at 1st and 8.5 because I think he could get about 1.5 to 2 yards on every tush push. Some of those tush pushes last night, he got like 3 yards on them. It's hilarious. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, I remember watching Mozart in 2015 preseason, loaded running back room in 15. Sproles, that was the Murray year, and Ryan Matthews. I forgot Ryan Matthews was an Eagle for a while. That's why he got cut. Yes, that is accurate. There's no way a rookie was going to outtake those three guys there. Not at all. Reddick set the tone with his, look. You know it's hilarious, Marshawn. Hassan Reddick had 2 tackles for losses. Neither of them were on sacks. Hassan Reddick, the run stopper. Who would have thought? But he was. And it's fantastic. Like Hassan Reddick's run stopping performance. I mean, we gave up. Hold on, let me pull up the box score here. Where's the running backs for the Dolphins? 40. We gave up only 45 rushing yards. Think about that. 45 rushing yards is all we gave up. And Mozart and their rushing attack is just as potent as their passing. We've seen their running backs, Mozart and the other guy that's on IR for them now. We've seen them all put up big numbers this year. Didn't do it last night. Our run defense was a monster last night. Bradley Cooper's great, without a shadow of a doubt. Taylor Swift is greater than football. Taylor Swift makes money for football. That's all there is to it. We'll be ready next Sunday to box. Washington next Sunday, right? I believe it's Washington next Sunday. Um, yeah, Washington didn't look good this week. I'm telling you, whew, Washington's going to have a juggernaut of a team. But yet again, they pushed us because they're and you look across the NFL, a lot of the close games this weekend were division games. So, you never know with the division, but we'll be ready to box next Sunday. Uh, Best suit, yeah. BB's suit seemed loose on him. He was skinny man. Considering what he used to look like, I can't remember a single quarterback design run working this season. Which is why, although everyone will point to the Rams game, Davey, and the hit he took in the knee, why he's injured, Jalen Hurts right now. I kind of feel like he's been injured since week 1. There was a play, and I don't remember because it was 7 weeks ago in New England game, week 1, that I think he took a bad hit, and I kind of feel like he's been off since with the running. That on the first drive, he had 2 runs. A couple runs, but there was a run when he ran to the right and he just gave himself up for a loss. It wasn't a draw, but it was a RPO, and he took off to the right side and he just gave himself. And the way he even just gave himself up looked awkward, and I thought he came up a little iffy on that play. Bradbury press coverage against Hill ended up being a train wreck. Yeah, it wasn't good. It's hard. It's hard to press coverage a guy of his speed. Barrett looks like a quarterback, and Jaws looks like an offensive lineman. Look, if you ever been to any of his restaurants, any of his golf clubs, he's putting down the beers and the food there. Still love Jaws. Jaws is getting up there in age, but I still love Jaws. One of the first interviews I ever did 3+ years ago on a podcast, we had Jaws for a pre-recorded 20-minute interview, and it was fantastic to have him on. It really was. I was way too inexperienced, way too raw and green to have a guy like that on, but yeah, it was fantastic. A quarterback sneak is a quarterback design run. Yeah, those tush pushes count as quarterback runs. We always knew Ringo would be a project, the fact we've got undrafted free agents that are able to play at a level well enough where 6-1 is a massive win. So I wouldn't be against getting some other guys. Yeah, I mean, again, you got look. I almost feel like I'm ready to say cornerback's not the biggest need. It's definitely safety. Like I thought, still, cornerback was right there equal, but I'm just gonna say it right now. We need a safety. We do. You can roll with Josiah Scott played okay last night. Eli Ricks, Kellen Ringo. You can roll with those guys as long as Bradbury and Slay stay healthy. That's all that matters. Um, let's pass through some of the what's ups in the comments. What's up with Nicholas Morrow and Zach Cunningham? Felt like I haven't seen them or heard from them. That's a good thing. Well, let me go over the snap count here for you, Marshawn. We're so far behind on comments. So, I'll try to catch up on them. But the Zach Cunningham did play all 100% of the 49 defensive snaps last night. The 49 snaps were split between Nakobe Dean and Nicholas Morrow. Nicholas Morrow was only on the field for 19 plays, where Nakobe Dean was on the field for 30 plays. So that's how that's playing out now that Nakobe Dean is back. I saw Zach Cunningham make one really big key play. Um, yeah, absolutely. But there was another play that Zach Cunningham made as well. Ringo is a bust. Stop. That's a joke. Cunningham was such a great addition. He was a good addition, and he's exceeding expectations. Deshaun Jackson said he could have beat Tyreek Hill in a race in his prime. I don't know. That would have been real close. That would have been interesting to see as well. Marshawn, Sirianni was yelling, "Stop doubting the Eagles" after the win. I love it. I love it. I would hate it if he was the Cowboys coach, but I love it because he's the Eagles coach. The only other game where Hill was under 100 yards was the loss to Buffalo. Look, they're two losses. Tyreek Hill under 100 yards. Is that a coincidence, Duck? It's not a coincidence. We got a lot of people watching this show. So I'm going to ask now. Make sure you hit that like button. We're at 16 likes on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Share it out if you can as well. It's weird. I thought Cunningham was supposed to be the run-stopping linebacker. Yeah, and he was supposedly terrible in coverage too when we brought him in, but he's done well. And he's on the field. He stays on the field, and that's big. Sirianni also looked straight into the camera and said, "If they could do it, then they would be doing it." When speaking on, yeah, exactly. Um, Kelsey talked about it. So politically correct in the locker room after the game, just basically saying, "Well, the league's just trying to do what they can to keep it honest for the defense." But yeah, like, look, it's not doing it, man. Not doing it. The league will try their best out. And before we get to your comment, Kyle, then the announcers, I will say, they're like, "Oh well, if they ever ban it, it's because of player safety." And I guess somebody in some game this weekend got hurt on a tush push in another game. No Eagles are getting hurt doing the tush push because they've mastered it. So taking it away is just because no one else can do it, and it drives me nuts. It does. After the big win last night, how fired up are we? Oh my god, dude! And of course, Nick Castellanos and his son Liam at the game, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game, and they're fading to a commercial, and I hear dancing on my own. I'm like, yeah, NLCS Game 6, the same night that we clinched the World Series berth last year. Let's get this W tonight. 5 o'clock game, fantastic timing, Kyle, because I am completely exhausted right now. And the 5 o'clock game, I can watch it at the pizza shop, be home at 8:30, go to bed by 9:30 because I need sleep badly after this weekend. Um, so excited for another chance at an Aaron Nola tonight can cement himself in Eagles or in Phillies history and Phillies lore with a big performance tonight. Tanner or Tackle Machine Cunningham. He's been good in coverage this year. Yeah, he's been good. And that's why he's not losing any snaps now that Nakobe Dean's back. Nakobe Dean and Nicholas Morrow are splitting them. Zach Cunningham's out there every single play. Taylor Swift wants to have Travis Kelce baby so she could trap him and put him on. Dude, all I'm going to say about Taylor Swift is the handshake, dance, slap, chest bump, whatever the heck you want to call it, that she did with Mahomes' wife. I don't even know what her name is. Made me want to throw up in my mouth. That's all I'm going to say about that right there. Completely. Hey, did the Phillies give the game ball and the MVP award to the refs? Oh, there has to be someone. Look, we can talk the refs. We can. The refs missed a lot of calls against the Eagles last night, without a doubt. But they also Missed calls against the Dolphins as well. That referee crew was atrocious last night on both sides. The fact that the Eagles had 0 penalties called on them, that's near impossible in today's NFL to go a game with 0 penalties. Statistician, when was the last time the Eagles had 0 penalties? But also, the Dolphins 10 called against them. There was probably about 2 or 3 more that I saw missed. So the rest, I saw something. I don't know if it was true or not. I saw it literally right before the show when I was scrolling Twitter. Somebody posted something about that umpire or one of the refs on the crew last night was actually banned from the SEC in college football because of how bad he was. But yet he's reffing an NFL game. So I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. Saw it, read it, then clicked live 2 seconds later, so I didn't get a chance to check it. But the refereeing on both sides was atrocious last night. Phillies deserve a few minutes. We're going to give the Phillies the final 15 minutes of the show, without a doubt. We can mix them in, say whatever you want about the Phillies in the comments. I'll bring them up for sure. They deserve it. That game on Saturday night was so good. Zach Wheeler pitched well. The bullpen did their job. The offense came to play. We put the nail in the coffin tonight. We just got to drive it home. That's it. What is up, Michael? Good morning. Welcome to the show. Nolan Smith, Mitchie Poo, got his first sack. One more than Derek Barnett. Hold on a second. I got to check the snap. I don't think I saw Derek Barnett on the field once last night. He played 7 snaps. He's down to 7 snaps on defense. Nolan Smith, 4. Interesting. I would like to see a little bit more of Nolan Smith for sure as we go on here. Yes, we do need a safety. Without a shadow of a doubt, we need a safety, Michael. Can we put the Kenny G as a great running back to bed? I put it to bed before the season started, but you guys can put it to bed if you're ready to. I wonder what K1 thinks of Kenny Gainwell after his 8 for 16 and 1 touchdown. Kenny name is solid, and Dean was a nice and steady. Yeah, I mean, nobody made mistakes in the linebacker crew last night. Ringo will be a bust for the life of me. I can't understand that pick. It's far too soon to call Kellen Ringo a bust, Davey. I'll just say that. We have struggled, and I talked about this last year on this show when I was on my previous network. We have struggled developing cornerbacks, young cornerbacks. Yeah, we brought in Bradbury and Slay, and what was the kid before Bradbury? Steven Nelson, and had good secondary play from guys we brought in. But none of the guys we brought in through the draft or as rookies have developed really well. And that's a question mark. 2 great performances by the defense since the Kobe Dean return. That's what a Mike linebacker. That's an interesting point, Mister. Interesting point, and you might be onto something there for sure. You might be onto something there for sure. Good morning, gentlemen. What's up, my man? Hopefully, Howie can work his magic this week. My question is, why hasn't he worked his magic yet? He should have worked his magic already. He should have already had somebody in there. Okay, the trade deadline is 8 days away. Halloween is the trade deadline. Is it 8 days? 8 days, 9 days away. Whatever it is, whether you count today or not. He needs to bring somebody in at safety and soon. I don't care if Reed Blankenship's coming back next week or not. You need somebody else out there. Terrell Edmonds is just not the answer for me. Tush push is because they practice the hell out of it. Other teams try it once or twice and wonder why it didn't work. It's practice. It's the 600-pound squat. It's the offensive line going to Stoutland University and knowing leverage techniques. Which shout out. I love Sunday Night Football. And they introduce the starters and they say what college or high school they're from. And Jordan Mailata, when his name is like Jordan Mailata, Jeff Stoutland University. I loved it. It was hilarious. It was a great one. One of the best lines to intro yourself in Sunday Night Football history, in my opinion. Love it. Taylor Swift is Satan. What? I love it, but it's hilarious, but weird. We all know there is needed to be a Cunningham and Kelly. Duck, I'm going to give you props for that. That's something I didn't even think about. How to have a Cunningham and Kelly Green for the Kelly Green re-debut night. Man, and again, I've crushed Kelly Green as a money grab from the Eagles, but man, it looked good last night. And it looked good, all the graphics that NBC put up on the screen. Even like the first down marker was an old school Kelly Green Eagles logo. They knocked it out of the park. Everybody knocked it out of the park. And Adam said the pregame show festivities knocked it out of the park with Kelly Green. Man, I'm ready to go get the hoodie that Nick Sirianni was wearing last night. I need it. If somebody wants to buy it for me, I'm a size XL. I need that hoodie in my life. I do. Um, they missed so many calls on both sides. The refs, yeah, I mean, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I know Dolphins fans are going to blame the loss on the refs because of the fact that the Eagles had 0 calls. I mean, I don't know if there's ever been a time. Um, oh, hold on. I see it on the side screen, way down here. We'll catch up to some of the other ones. Kyle's saying it's the first time the Eagles had 0 penalties since 2018 versus the Cowboys. That's how hard it is to go 0 penalties. So I give the Dolphins fans the room to bitch and moan about that, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. You can't imagine a scenario where a team has 0 penalties. It just doesn't happen. But also the Dolphins had 10, might have committed 5 more. Philly don't claim no, we don't claim Taylor Swift, not at all. Are the Phillies playing still? They are. Game 6, NLCS, chance to clinch their World Series berth, punch their ticket tonight at 8 o'clock tonight. Are we going to be dancing on our own again? I don't know. I hope so. I got to power through some of these comments and get caught up. So I know. So what I'm talking about is what you guys are talking about. Kenny G gets in the end zone and Phil's still trashing him. 8-16, and the big hit Jalen Hurts took on that bomb to AJ Brown that set up the touchdown. That big hit was because Kenny Gainwell missed his blocking assignment. Just gonna say. Um, just gonna say. It was just the 6th time that a team has had 0 penalties since the start of the 20. So just think about that. That's 2.5 or 2020, 2021, 3.5 seasons. And it's only the sixth time. 17th time in the last 10 seasons. That's how rare it is. Cunningham is greater than Morrow, greater than Nolan Smith. Well, Nolan Smith doesn't have an opportunity to play. So you can't do that. Julio Jones right out there right away. AJ Brown came out. Looks like he got hit in the face. I was glad it wasn't a concussion, just a cut or something like that. But yeah, Julio Jones was out there. Julio Jones actually was on the field snap wise more than I expected. He was on the field for 16 snaps, which is not bad considering he was just signed a few days ago. The tush push is all Jalen Hurts, without a doubt. Um, let's go down here. Brian Johnson get a little credit for this game. I'll give Brian Johnson some credit. That first drive in the red zone was atrocious, and I was ready for it to be a disaster of a game for Brian Johnson again. But after that red zone, something changed. I wonder if Nick Sirianni said something to him. I wonder if he got some help on the play. I don't know, but Brian Johnson, the play calling got better as the game went on for sure. Might have already said it, but the secondary looked great last night. Edmonds is still garbage. Yeah. So the secondary looked great outside of Edmonds. And I said it like 3 or 4 times already. 10, 88, 1. If that's the stat line you get from Tyreek Hill, I'll take it and call it a win every single Sunday and Monday without a shadow of a doubt. Will Smith back in the comments. We had a few penalties. They just had some at the same time. There were some offsetting penalties as well. A couple times, Jalen Carter, getting a little rough with an offensive lineman there. The offensive lineman got called for the offsetting personal foul. He flopped, and he even said it after the game. He's channeling his inner LeBron James on that. We got more than that sometimes throughout the show, and not enough. We were up to 17 likes on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Yeah, a lot more viewers than likes on the show, man, Chatter. Just so you know, but I appreciate you bringing it to the attention of the comment section. Eagles want to see what Julio still has left in the tank, and it looks like he had plenty. Yeah, I mean, he had 1 catch. I think he had another catch that got called back on a penalty or got eliminated because of a penalty. I think they took a first down penalty instead of the catch. I think he got targeted more than the box score said. But yeah, I mean, he was out there. I saw him blocking on a DeAndre Swift run. And he had a nice, cut back block on somebody on a DeAndre Swift run. So he was out there doing his job. Julio Jones is not going to get the big target share like AJ Brown or Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert. He's going to have to do other things to stay on the field, and he was blocking last night. So I give him plenty of credit for that. Terrell Edmonds does stink. Oh wow! Finally caught up on the comments. I blew through some. I skipped a few. Sorry. Had to get caught up so that we're talking at the same time. Do I stream on Twitch or any other platform? It's on Facebook. I used to stream on Twitter, but I don't anymore just because comments can't be integrated. So if you're watching on Twitter and you commented, I can't see them on the screen. So I stopped that. When I was with my previous network, we streamed on Twitch, but it was like one viewer a show, and it might have been like somebody that ran the Twitch page for the network I was on. I don't know, but I don't even have a Twitch account of my own, so I don't stream on there. Also, Julio and Hertz need to get their timing down. Yeah, it's going to take time, without a doubt, for sure. Good morning, Eric. Glad to have you on the show this morning, my man. Oh, it's that Liam starting that nonsense about Devontae Smith being as good. Now, I started that nonsense on this show this summer, for sure, without a doubt. I love this from Eric right here. Great way. Phillies, let's go with the Eagles on each side of them. That's that's clutch right there because it's Phillies. It's game day. It's NLCS Game 6, a chance to punch your ticket to the World Series for the second year in a row. Man, so happy. I'm so tired, but I'm so happy, dude. We're 55 minutes into a 90-minute show, and I'm falling asleep here. I am, but I'm so the adrenaline of the Eagles win last night, the adrenaline that the NLCS game is tonight, a chance to get back to the World Series. And I've told you guys so many times, yeah, we talk mostly football, but baseball's my jam. I'm a baseball guy at heart. That's my number one. So the adrenaline is going to keep me going throughout the day today, without a shadow of a doubt. Let's go, Birds, and let's clinch tonight. Go, Phillies. Jim, thank you for tuning in, my man. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Tell people to tune in. TMC and K1. Yeah. The Core 12. Almost all here tonight. Today. Rumble. Don't have much sports. Do cats that stream on there get 3 YouTube views and thousands on Rumble? I don't even know what Rumble is. I'm reading the comment out loud, and I'm like, "What's Rumble?" Never even heard of Rumble. Sirianni throwing out the first pitch would be fire epic. You said fun epic. I would say fire or effing epic. I'm saying fire epic. Have they announced the first pitch guy for the Phillies game tonight? I don't know. Some people really love who like take that like seriously. Like it's got to be a certain guy. It's like the Sixers with the bell ringers and stuff like that. I don't get too hyped for it most of the time because normally it's nothing exciting. But you want to get that crowd fired up right from the get go. You put Nick Sirianni out there. You know who should throw out the first pitch, K1? Actually, you're not a baseball guy, so you might not appreciate it as much. If it wasn't Nick Sirianni, it should be Liam Castellanos. You should use Nick Castellanos' son to throw out the first pitch. He is the most famous Phillies fan there is out there right now. You know, and when he was shown on the Jumbotron at Lincoln Financial Field last night, the crowd went nuts. So let's give Liam a chance to throw out the. I'm telling you, that would be so dope. I would love it. It would fire me up so much. I don't even know why I didn't think of that before. I need us to win it all. World Series, Super Bowl, MLS Cup. We know Lord Stanley is a ways away. Duck, you kind of left the NBA championship trophy out of there, didn't you? I wonder why. Hmm. Thursday, Sixers' first game of the year. I think there's going to be a Thursday morning show that we're going to center around the Sixers kickoff season. Maybe I'll even find a guest since I don't even know what's going on now. There might have to be some Sixers talk on the agenda this week. Season kicks off on Thursday. Will James Harden still be here on Thursday? I don't know. He's not going to be playing. I know that. I'm down 110 versus 116. Kittle versus Osborne for come from behind win. It was National Tight Ends Day was yesterday, so maybe not. Depends on if Christian McCaffrey how healthy he is. Debo's out tonight, so that'll help Kittle. It's going to come down to the wire, man. I'm down in one of my leagues 26, and I've got T.J. Hawkinson going tonight, and they have Osborne going. So I need Hawkinson to outscore Osborne by 26. But I don't know, man. It's good, Eric. It's going to come down to the wire for you, without without a shadow of a doubt. It's the second biggest streaming service. Rumble is. I'm gonna have to fact check you on that. I'm not sure if it's the second biggest or not, but we'll find out. Texas and Astros Game 7. Who wins? I want the Astros to win because A, it gives us home field advantage in the World Series, and B, I want revenge. I still think we're a better team than the Astros. I want the Astros. Bring on the repeat. That's what run it back that World Series. That's what I want. Get some rest so you can keep up with these great shows, dude. Dude, I went to bed as soon as the game was over. I just couldn't. I couldn't fall asleep. couldn't fall asleep last night. I think it was like 3 a.m. when I finally fell asleep last night. Insomnia is a hell of a bitch. Let me just tell you that. What exactly? What is Rumble? Oh, you're laughing at me not knowing what Rumble is. How's the second biggest streaming site? I've never heard of it. It just goes to show how little I know. Um, Twitch, Kick, the D Live Rumble. I could go on for forever. I've heard of Twitch, at least that. Rumble. I've never heard of Kick or D Live either. Um, I stay to YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I got too much going on in my life, man. I can't follow and start building another platform, man. I don't need to do that. Stick to one or two things, and that's it. No care unless they heard his accent. Yeah. Don't care about the Sixers. A lot of fans feel that way. And did I read it last week on the show? I got a comment last week on Twitter of someone that just basically went off on their frustrations with the Sixers. Now they're just out. They just don't care anymore. And it's a shame that the Sixers have disconnected from their fan base so much. And it's Daryl Morey's fault. It's James Harden's fault. It's Josh Harris's fault for sure. It's a shame. It really is. I think they said Larry Bowa is throwing out tonight. See now that doesn't like I love Larry Bowa. He's a legend, player, coach, assistant coach, announcer, commentator, great guy. Was that really going to fire up the crowd? Like if you send out Nick Castellanos' kid to throw the first pitch out there and he throws a strike, oh my God, an earthquake will happen. It'll register on the Richter scale. You got to pick and choose a little bit better. If not, they will think it's just some 20-year-old that can grow a beard. Yeah, exactly. No one can grow a beard like me. I'm a millennial. I guess. What's a computer? Hey, I still remember 1993, 92, getting my first computer in our house. We had to share it. I remember my dad putting it together, and we were playing Minesweeper and Solitaire on it till late in the night. Come on now. I still remember getting my first Nintendo in 1989 or 1990. K1, you forget I'm old. I'll be 43 in less than 2 months, man. I'm an old man. Out to dinner with my family last night. They're pointing out my nieces and then pointing out the gray hairs in my beard. I'm old. Can't help it. What's your take on the Birds last night? Well, this whole entire show has been my take on the Birds last night. And what the sum of the Birds last night is on my take is that they came out last night and they held one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL the last 5 years to 17 points. Actually, 10 points. They only gave up one offensive touchdown to the Dolphins. Jalen Hurts balled out even though he made mistakes, even though he got hurt or was injured. He still made big plays at big moments, and the defense is not going to get enough credit for how dominant they were last. Holding that Dolphins offense to under 300 yards and set one touchdown, that's as dominant as it comes. Like, realistically speaking, that is as dominant as it gets. And it's a huge. I think the cold open of the show, I think I said huge statement win from that Eagles team. They are for real. They are the real deal. That's what last night was. A statement of all statements. TikTok. I do have a TikTok account. I put some videos on TikTok. It's Beard and Knowledge, just like Twitter. You follow me on TikTok. I put a couple videos out occasionally. I get lost scrolling TikTok, man. Phil got AOL CD for the minutes. Dude, I got them all the time. Dude, of course I had AOL. Before it was AIM, it was just straight AOL. And you had a dial-up modem, and if the phone rang, you would get kicked off the internet. Chat rooms. Who wasn't a 15-year-old kid back in the mid-90s going into chat rooms talking to, they thought girls, but they were probably like 70-year-old men on the other side of the computer. Who knew? You have mail. Is that a good impersonation? You have mail. Something like that. Of course. Absolutely. I bet you my AOL email address still works. I wouldn't know what my password is. Phil, you young. I remember dial-up modems and BB. Dude, I had my first cell phone before anybody else had cell phones. You know, because my dad worked for Verizon's Bell Telephone, little bag cell phone. I had the big analog flip phone. It was like this big. I'm old. 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 Any thoughts on the Eagles? They're great. That's my thoughts. You're not old. You're just seasoned. I'm a grizzled young vet. That's what I am. Somebody will get that reference. Any concern on Jalen injury, David? I think we do need to spend some time talking about this. Of course, we've hit it, we've touched on it, but we've not really dove into it. Yes, there's concern. but it's obviously not so serious that he can't play. So it comes down to Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni game planning around the injury. Less design runs, less quarterback draws, less RPOs. Just let him throw the ball and hand it off to DeAndre Swift. That's it. And you can alleviate it. And if you can get through the next 2 weeks without it getting worse, and then you've got the bye week, you're good as gold. You got to keep him healthy, though. You got to. But man, I'm more concerned with his his freakish turnover issues than the injury issue at this point. Because if he was really injured really bad, they would have benched him or whatnot. The 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 turnovers are still an issue, and they're questionable. So whatever. Do you remember Oregon Trail? Of course. Remember computer class at Holy Cross in elementary school, and once a month you get to play games on your floppy disks. Okay, and there was only one. I remember at Holy Cross, there was only one floppy disk drive of Oregon Trail, and there were like 10 computers, and all the kids would fight on who got to play Oregon Trail, and the teacher would have to pick somebody who got to play it. Absolutely, I died of dysentery all the time, all the time. I probably died of dysentery 47 times already in my life because of Oregon Trail. Phil Pager. I never owned a pager. Never owned a pager. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I never owned one though, because I always had a phone. Who knew needs to literally be one of the catchphrases? Who knew? Who knew? Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Do I say it a lot? I don't even know. Except it's 9 a.m. Oh, it is. Oh, shit. I didn't do my 9 a.m. reset. We're flying along through the comments here. I forgot. It's 9:07 now. I normally reset at 9 a.m. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Follow me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. Hit the like, the share, the subscribe, the follow on all the Philadelphia Sports Network sites that you're watching this on. 8 likes on Facebook. We're up to 20 likes on YouTube. Not good enough. Let's go. Pound those buttons. Share, subscribe. Let's cheer these Eagles on. Let's cheer these Phillies on. Let's go. Phil, right. They invest so much in quarterbacks, you have to game plan around injuries, protecting them. It's a quarterback-driven league. You got to invest around them. The Eagles have done that. They've invested in offensive line, wide receivers, running back. They've done it. Now they got to protect him because he's banged up. And that's all there is to it. I remember in college teaching education students at Temple on how to use this. Man, hold on. What are we talking about here? On how to use the floppy disks? Duck, are you that old? Man, that's good to know. I'm not the oldest one here. Everyone okay? Hurts so bad. He probably nervous about. No. That's not it. Yes, you say beyond a shadow of a doubt. Do I? Wow. There are other things I say a lot of. I don't even remember what they are off the top of my head that my wife makes fun of me all the time for. But yeah, look, you say the same things over and over again when they just become like second nature. I try not to say the word as much as possible. So that's when I try to work on. But it doesn't work all the time. I am on a friend of mine's YouTube football show. I was the only guy confident in picking my Eagles, even told how we were going to win. I called the win the exact way. If you win the time of possession and not just win the play count, like dominate. And we had over 20 more offensive plays in the Dolphins, and that was the key. And that's what I said on Friday. And Eric, I did not know you were on a football show. DM me a link. I would love to see a link to your show and come check it out. 1992 is like 8 years before I was born. I remember my uncle and granddad having floppy disks, but at the time I was in primary school, things had moved to CD. Yeah, I mean, I'm a 1980s kid. I was born in 1980. Duck is 51. Makes me feel so young. I thought I was the old one here. Actually, no, I knew Eric was about my age too. Dang, Duck, you smart. I don't know if he's smart or not, but he's definitely old. I can't wait to get back on to talk with my chest out. They've been hating on us all season. You let me know when you're back on. And I'll be in the comment section supporting you, Eric. Just like you support me. I love the Oregon Trail. Absolutely. Who didn't want to try to make it across the Oregon Trail and not die of dysentery? I mean, that was the only way you went. It was the only way you died. And those still don't understand DOS. Thank goodness for Bill Gates and Windows, or I'd still be living in the Stone Ages. I actually wish I wasn't. So Twitter, like notifications were down this weekend for a day, and it was so great because I just didn't go on my phone all day. It was so nice to have a day off, from going through it all. Used up quarterbacks like cheap Olive Garden breadsticks. It's going to be a big moment tonight. I mean, it's not as tough of a matchup, but it's a big moment for the 49ers tonight going up against the Vikings. The Vikings are a good team that have a bad record. Justin Jefferson's out, so that makes them a bad team. But Brock Purdy and the 49ers played bad last week to a rookie quarterback-led Cleveland Browns, and they lost. So this is a big rebound statement game for San Francisco as well. Now, they'll win tonight, San Francisco, but they need to come out and win like the Eagles did handily to make a statement. It's a huge Monday Night Football matchup for San Francisco tonight. And those announcers are going to be dripping all over Brock Purdy and how great he is and how he's Tom Brady Jr. But, man, it's a huge statement game for them tonight. Yeah, we'll find out our show someday soon. MS stole it from Apple. Apple stole it from everybody. Steals everything from somebody. I stole the idea of this show from somebody else, probably. It is what it is. What's your opinion on Hurts fumble and interception? A bit of hero ball. We talked about this HC last week. That you call it hero ball. I call it a Superman complex. The fumble. I don't think actually either of his two interceptions or two turnovers were hero ball complex last night. They were both just sloppy. The interception was sloppy, and the fumble was super sloppy. He just didn't protect the ball in the pocket. You got to protect the ball when the Dolphins are crashing. You can't have it just out there loose like this, loosey goosey. You got to protect it. So I kind of feel like some of his turnovers this year have definitely been hero ball esque, Superman, complex esque. But last night's were just straight bad. They were just sloppy. And there's no excuses for his two turnovers last night, none whatsoever. But he didn't let them affect him, and he stayed in the game, and he stuck with the plan, and he did what he does. I love how this show goes on and off the road. We are all over the place on a regular basis on this show, Duck, and I absolutely love it. You guys keep me on my toes, which keeps me awake when I'm exhausted, like right now. So that's always helpful as well. Gates stole DOS from CPM. I wouldn't know. I bet you my dad would have known that stuff back in the day. I like when Phil's saying Eagles are number one. No, I agree. Like I might have to put the Eagles back to number one in the power rankings. Maybe. Look, I can't. The Chiefs will stay number one in my power rankings this week. The Chiefs beat the Chargers, and again, what did we talk about the Chargers last week? Justin Herbert ain't it. He has zero clutch gene. Justin Herbert is not it. The only reason San Francisco can afford those nice talent pieces on offense and defense because they don't pay the quarterback. That's fair, Duck. It's very fair. Eventually, they're going to have to pay somebody. Eventually, I don't know. Was it Gates was a computer nerd? Look, I don't know all this computer history, man. I don't. He should have taken the sack on the fumble. Probably should have taken it. He's always trying to do a lot, and his aggressive nature is what we love about him. Because when most of the time when he's aggressive, it works out. Look, he was aggressive on that pass to AJ Brown. Guy crashed in his face. Probably a conservative quarterback tries to duck and run to the side, doesn't make that throw. Jalen Hurts stood in the face of pressure and threw it. The aggressiveness is what we love about him. But it also occasionally can backfire. So we saw it in the Super Bowl when he fumbled. That's now twice in the last, 8 months that he's loosely held the football and had fumbles in big moments. Now the Super Bowl we lost, it was a big play. Last night we were able to pull through and win the game. So I don't want him to change what makes him, who he is. He's just got to learn to fine tune some of the details. And as we get close to the final 15 minutes of the show, and I promised the Phillies some time, but we're still so neck deep in Eagles talk here. I lost my train of thought now. I completely lost my train of thought there. So crush me in the comments because I don't even know what I was going to say there. I had a really good point, but I lost it. I blew Liam's mind with that observation. Which observation? The quarterback thing, yeah, possibly. The greatest fight of the modern era. The owner of the channel is from DC with a potty mouth. If you can handle it, I'll drop the link. He needs subs. You got to send it to me in a DM. Don't put it in the comment section. The link. I don't know how our network would feel about that, but yeah, send me a DM and I'll share it out if I can. I do follow the one DC channel, Ref the District. They don't need subs. They're great at what they do. But otherwise, now for our national anthem, Leon crowd goes wild. Wait, yeah, look, Hurts is good at bouncing back after mistakes. He's resilient. He's even Steven. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. And they talked about it. They talked about it a lot on the show on the telecast last night. Very level headed. Phil called it. I call a lot of things right. I'm pretty smart. I know a thing or two. I'm smart. I know things. Hurts through a deep dot in the double coverage. That was a hell of a play. You're right. Yeah, exactly. That's just Hurts' take on the gunslinger mentality of Rodgers and Favre. I don't want to put Hurts in their category. Totally different kind of guys. Um, Two Hall of Famers. Jalen Hurts might be a Hall of Famer someday. We'll see. Nick coaches Jalen to make those aggressive plays. He actually that's a fantastic comment right there. He's coached to be aggressive too, to an extent. What grade would I give Jalen Hurts just for last night or overall? Last night, I would give him a B grade. He played great, but he did make two big mistakes that could have backfired. The first fumble only resulted in 3 points, and then the pick six was another touchdown. Um, so 10 of the 17 points came off of turnovers. Uh, I would give him a B plus still for this year, even with the turnovers. Look, we're 6-1, and we're 6-1 because of a lot of things, but we're 6-1 because of Jalen Hurts. Let's not dance around it. Jalen Hurts is still the man, plain and simple. We need a bet in which if Phil lose, he needs to shave the beard. I'm already shaving the beard. That's how I got my WrestleMania tickets. So when that day comes, it'll be streamed on the Fox Gambler site. I love when Jalen steps up fearlessly in the pocket. It's a thing of beauty. It is. He is one tough SOB, Eric. Tough SOB. Without a shadow of a doubt. He could take a hit. He takes a hit and keeps on ticking, or whatever the saying goes. Score prediction for the Phillies tonight. Great. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for bringing the Phillies back into the conversation. I need Aaron Nola to go 7 innings tonight. I do. I do. Um, if Aaron Nola goes 7 innings tonight, then the Phillies win 7-2. I'll just be slightly different than you. 7-2. If Aaron Nola's out by the fifth, I'll go Phillies 8-5. How's that for a play? The Phillies are winning tonight. They're locking up the World Series berth tonight. They are locking up back-to-back NL pennants tonight. No doubt in my mind. Now it's just how. It's either 7-2 or 8-5. It depends on Aaron Nola. That's how I'll say it. That's how I'll predict it. It's going to be cold down there. It's not going to be hitting weather. So actually, no. Maybe I'll go with a lower scoring. It's going to be cold down there. I think it's going to be in the 40s. Well, it's 5 o'clock start time, so it might not be as cold. Well, we'll stick to 7-2 or 8-5. Because Phil's seen a thing or two. I've seen a thing or two. I have. I know what you're saying. Who will relieve Nola tonight? That's a huge question. If Ranger Suarez was available last game, he might be available this game, although you need him for game. The World Series doesn't start till Friday, so plenty of rest. Everybody's on hand. I'm going Ranger Suarez out of the pen tonight. I'm going to skip Kimbrel if I can. Alvarado, Strom. Who would have thought when we signed Matt Strom he was going to have the season started, went to the bullpen, closed out the game 5. Matt Strom has been fantastic this year for the Phillies and done whatever has been asked of him. So those two lefties, Strom and Ranger, have to have moments tonight. Jeff Hoffman. I'm staying away from Kimbrel at all costs. I am. It's about to be repeat Super Bowl, #cover Kelsey. Yeah, got to cover Kelsey. It's take a licking and keeps on ticking. That's it. Dude, literally, I didn't fall asleep till like 3 a.m. I know I saw 2:30. I know I got up to take a little tinkle in the middle of the night at 2:45. So at least 3 a.m. before I fell asleep last night. Another time because today we were all giggling like, look, we're having fun. That's what we do on this show. We have fun. Snack out for Phillies. Dude, if anybody's in the Kennett Square area, come to Fox's Pizza tonight. 5:07, first pitch. I'll have it on the big screen. You can have pizza. Come hang out with me and watch the Phillies game. I'd be delighted to have you watch the Phillies game with me at the shop tonight. Definitely. They made a good point about the brotherly shove last night. Kelsey's under all those dudes in that pile. Guys got the weight of a Mack truck on top of him every time. Absolutely, HC. Absolutely. Love it. There's so much more to the tush push than what the league makes it be. The league just hates it because it's not a sexy play. They want them throwing a 40-yard bomb on 4th and 1 instead of the tush push. The league should be happy with the tush push. The tush push was used instead of punting inside their own 30 last night in the fourth quarter of a 1-touchdown game. Don't they want more offense? Well, the tush push created more offense last night. It's ridiculous. It will annoy the hell out of me forever. Kimbrel has been cheeks this series. Kimbrel has been cheeks. I'm assuming cheeks, you mean bad, for a month or so now. Craig Kimbrel's old, and he's washed. And the same thing happened to him last year. I was with the Dodgers last year or whoever. By the time the playoffs came around, he was washed. He's old. He's spent. Rob Thompson did not manage his innings and appearances well enough this year, and he's spent. So Kimbrel is basically useless at this point. Problem is, there's nobody. Like I asked on Twitter after the Phillies game or during the Phillies game last game, who would you put in the ninth to save a game? And everyone's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it's hard to give an NLCS like tonight. It's a clinching game. If it's 5-3 in the bottom of the ninth and you need somebody to close the game, do you go with the future Hall of Famer who's washed but has been in that big moment 100 times? Or do you go with somebody like Matt Strom who has never been there? Or do you go with somebody said put Kirkgreen, the young kid that was in low single A ball. He went low single A ball, high single A ball, double A, triple A, and to the majors all in one season. You put him in there in that moment? No. Jeff Hoffman's a 5.5 ERA guy his whole career except for this year. He's never closed a game out, a big game out. Gregory Soto was a closer last year on a bad team. So, like, who do you trust in the moment? And that's a big question. He's spent. He's cheeks. But he's also got massive experience in a moment. Phils win it by 3 runs at least with one multi-run dinger. Absolutely love it. The brotherly shove rips the heart out of teams, just like it's a flawless victory. I mean, to call for ban is just being a baby. But I can't help but know you would crush Bills with the brotherly shove. Well, we will crush the Bills with the brotherly shove. Is this Phillies team as good as the '08 squad? Oh my God, they're better than the '08 squad. They're more talented than the '08 squad. They're deeper than the '08 squad. The '08 squad had some magic though. This team is just talented 1 through 9, and they got some great pitchers on the team. There's a big difference between the two of them. And the brotherly shove is not 100%. It's only 93%. I know, exactly. 7 out of 100 times you could stop it. I don't have a baseball team, so it was easy to hop on this bandwagon. Hey, some fans will say, no, you can't be a bandwagon jumper. I will always say it. Everybody's welcome on the Philadelphia sports fandom bandwagon whenever they want. I'll allow it. It's still unstoppable. Absolutely. I trust Strom and Hoffman. Kyle, why? I mean, yeah, he did well, Strom, on Saturday night in the 9th inning there. But you're saying you would trust Matt Strom in a 5-3 game in the bottom of the 9th with a chance to clinch a World Series berth. You would trust him. I mean, I would probably make the decision to go with him, but I wouldn't say I'd go into it with a lot of confidence. These guys have never been in that moment before. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Kimbrel has experienced blow and save opportunities this year, but he's there's no doubt about it, K1, Kyle. Craig Kimbrel's going to be, there's not many closers in the Hall of Fame. It's very, very, very hard to get into the Hall of Fame as a closer. He's going to go in to the Hall of Fame. Probably on the first or second ballot. He is one of the greatest closers of all time. And early in his career, I don't remember a pitcher being that dominant in the 9th inning as him. That's all I'm going to say about that. Phils don't have Brad Lidge. Brad Lidge was unbeatable in '08. Perfect. But he wasn't after that. But yeah, he was pretty lights out. Look at me trying to talk. I know, K1, I'm so proud of you. If I had a sound effect button, I'd give you a round of applause. We'll just give you a little clap on the show, a little golf clap. Round of applause for talking baseball in the final 10 minutes of this show. Zach Wheeler belongs in Philly pitching Rushmore. Dude, Marshawn, it's an interesting question. It's a really interesting point. His playoff performances ranked near the top in all of baseball history in the playoffs. He is one of the greatest playoff pitchers of all time if you look at the stats. Innings, strikeouts, whip, ERA, all those analytics. One of the best of all time. It's pretty damn good. So yeah, Zach Wheeler, pitching Hall of Fame or Mount Rushmore, the Phillies. You got Steve Carlton, you got Cole Hamels, you got Jim Bunning for the old crew. Zach Wheeler might be one of the 4 best pitchers in Phillies history. It very well might be. How hard will chat go on TMC when they own the Bills? We won't be too hard on you. Maybe a little bit. Yes. Welcome to Red October. As my man Mark always says when he's on the show or in the comments, this is a baseball town. It's not, but it is. Like when the Phillies are good, the Phillies fans show their faces. And there are a lot of them. And that bank is going to be packed with 48,000 plus in the cold this afternoon. They're going to be lubricated in the parking lot. And they're going to cheer on this team. Shout out to the Flyers. 3-2 this season already. They're playing pretty good. A little above their heads, but good. I want to give the Flyers a little love. I saw somebody say the Flyers earlier, and I didn't give them the love. I sent link to your Facebook. Gotcha. To the pizza place link. Got it. I'll find it after the show, and I'll put it out there on Twitter for you, and I'll share it. I appreciate it. Look at Phil's viewers just collapsed as soon as he said baseball. Stop. We're in the wrap-up process. We've gone 87 minutes here. We still only got 20 likes on YouTube and 9 on Facebook. Guys, got to be better. You have 4 slots on Rushmore. Carlton, Holiday, go in. Who else? Well, Cole Hamels is a lock. I would almost say Holiday isn't a lock to go. Holiday had 2 amazing, fantastic seasons here in Philadelphia. But that was it. And he never won a World Series. I would say that Cole Hamels has got to be on it. I'd say Carlton has to be on it. And then it's Jim Bunning, Roy Halladay, and Zach Wheeler. Those 3 are fighting for the last 2 spots. I know saying Roy Halladay is not a lock is not a popular Phillies opinion. I love Roy Halladay. You see his jersey hanging up there. One of the greatest pitchers I've ever seen pitch in person. But he did it for 2 years. He did it amazing for 2 years. Phenomenal. One of the only pitchers to ever throw a no-hitter and a perfect game in the same season, one being in the playoffs. I get it. But it's borderline. There's a discussion there. For sure, in my opinion. For you in my car at K. Yeah, don't worry, I'm parked. Even when the Phillies are mad, we show our faces. When we suck, that's a different issue. Absolutely agree with you on that. Jonathan Papelbon. Man, I hated that guy so much. It's time for it. It's time. I think today's effort from me deserves it for sure. I'm literally falling asleep here. I got to go to work for the next, 12 hours today. Does number better than not? But yeah, exactly. Appreciate. Yeah, I got you, my man. I got you. Carlton won 27 games on a dude. That performance, what was that, like 74, 75? Wasn't around for it, but I know my Phillies history very well. I'm surprised, K1. I'm going to give you another round of applause. Dropping some deep Phillies knowledge there. I think he won the Cy Young that year too. He had like a 2-something ERA. It was phenomenal. Before my time. Yeah, he gave me a lot. All right, we got to wrap this show up here. It's 9:30 in the morning here. Trending in the AM. Eagles victory Monday. Who isn't excited? I am. I love it. Everybody have a great day. Make sure you hit that like button. Even if you're watching this on replay later on down the line, hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, the follow button, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're at. I greatly appreciate each and every person that watches, tunes in. I love you guys. It's the NFL Sunday show. Starts at 10 a.m. Thank you. The rest of the week, he covers boxing. I can't do boxing. I can't get into boxing shows. It just doesn't do it for me. Go Phils. That's right. Great show. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I am exhausted right now. I guarantee you that I will be in bed lights out by 9:30 tonight at the latest. Guarantee it. Without a shadow of a doubt. Let's, without a shadow of a doubt, ring that bell tonight and ring it frequently. I think the 11 Phillies were the greatest with Holiday, Hamels, and Lee. Don't forget Roy Oswalt. You know, don't forget him, and don't forget Big Joe Blanton at all. Everybody have a great day. Everybody will be back tomorrow, 8 a.m., hopefully celebrating an NL championship for the Philadelphia Phillies, plus some Philadelphia Eagles talk as well. It might hurt the algorithm, but if the Phillies win tonight, it's going to be a Phillies conversation to start the show tomorrow. Guarantee you on that. Everybody have a great day. Like, share, retweet, follow, subscribe. You know the deal. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow for Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Let's go Phillies.